What if everything you've been told about freedom is wrong? In our hyper-connected, endlessly scrolling world, we chase liberation through more choices, more stuff, more followers. Yet so many of us feel more trapped than ever. We're told freedom is about getting what you want, but what if true freedom is about not wanting what you can't have? Prepare to unpack the radical wisdom of an ancient philosopher, Epictetus, and discover a counterintuitive truth. Genuine freedom isn't found outside you, but by mastering the one thing no algorithm can touch: your mind. Imagine achieving ultimate freedom, not by gaining more, but by letting go. It sounds a little crazy, doesn't it? But stick with me. We live in an age of what some call the paradox of choice. You open your streaming service, and there are thousands of shows, but you spend an hour just scrolling, feeling overwhelmed. You have endless career paths you could follow, but this paralyzes you into inaction. Social media promises connection to everyone, everywhere. Yet studies show it often makes us feel more isolated and inadequate. We have more external freedoms than any generation in history, but our internal worlds are often in chaos, plagued by anxiety and a constant feeling of not being enough. Now, let's rewind nearly 2,000 years to a man who understood this paradox better than anyone, even though he lived in a completely different world. His name was Epictetus. And here's the most powerful part of his story. He was born a slave. He was literally owned by another person, his body not his own. Yet he is remembered today as one of the wisest and freest men who ever lived. How is that possible? Because he understood that the chains of a master were nothing compared to the chains we forge for ourselves in our own minds. He discovered that true freedom has nothing to do with your external circumstances. It's an inside job. Epictetus saw that most of us are slaves, not to a master, but to our own desires, fears, and opinions. Think about it. We crave that promotion, and the stress of it enslaves our thoughts. We desperately want someone's approval, and we become a slave to their opinion of us. We are terrified of losing our money, our health, our status, and that fear becomes our jailer. Epictetus would say, it is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things. It's not the difficult boss that makes you miserable. It's your judgment that the boss must be pleasant for you to be happy. It's not the social media post that makes you envious. It's your judgment that someone else's highlight reel is a true reflection of their life and a measure of your own failure. In 2025, these chains look a little different, but they are just as real. They are the algorithms designed to keep you scrolling, feeding you outrage and desire to keep your attention captive. They are the marketing messages telling you that you are incomplete without this product, this experience, this lifestyle. We are willingly handing over our most precious resource, our focus and our peace of mind, in exchange for a fleeting hit of dopamine. We think we are making free choices, but are we? Or are our desires being manufactured for us, turning us into willing participants in our own mental enslavement? We're so busy chasing external freedoms, the freedom to buy anything, go anywhere, be anyone, that we've become shackled by the very things we pursue. So how do we break free? Epictetus gives us a brilliantly simple yet profoundly powerful tool. He called it the dichotomy of control. It's the single most important practice in all of Stoicism. He taught that in this world, there are only two categories of things that are within our control and things that are not. What's not in our control? Well, almost everything. We can't control the economy, the weather, what other people think of us, whether we get sick or even whether the traffic light turns red. We spend most of our lives worrying about, getting angry about, and trying to manipulate these things we have absolutely no power over. And that, right there, is the source of all our suffering and our feeling of being trapped. So what is in our control? It's a very short but incredibly powerful list. Our judgments, our intentions, our desires, our aversions. In short, our own thoughts and our own actions. That's it. That's the whole kingdom. Your inner world, your inner citadel, as the Stoics called it, is the only thing you have complete and total sovereignty over. No one can force you to judge a situation as bad. No one can force you to desire something that is ultimately harmful to you. They can threaten your body, take your property, even end your life. But they cannot touch your mind unless you allow them to. Epictetus, the slave, understood this. He said, "You can bind up my leg, but not even Zeus can break my power of choice." This isn't about being passive or giving up. It's about being strategic. It is about redirecting all that energy you waste on things you can't control and focusing it laser-like on what you can. Instead of being upset that your flight is delayed, you can control your response. Use the time to read, to meditate, to call a loved one. Instead of being consumed with anxiety about what your boss thinks of your presentation, you focus on what you can control, preparing to the best of your ability and delivering it with integrity. The outcome is not up to you. Your effort is. This shift from external to internal is the key that unlocks the prison door. Freedom is not getting what you want. Freedom is wanting what you get, and wanting only what is truly up to you. Think about people who embody this. Think of Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years, who emerged not with bitterness, but with a resolve to unite a nation. His body was caged, but his mind, his principles, his inner freedom were untouched. He focused on what he could control, his character, his forgiveness, his vision for the future. Or think of Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Nazi concentration camps. He observed that the prisoners who were most likely to survive were not the strongest physically, but those who held on to a sense of purpose, a meaning, a choice in how they would respond to their horrific suffering. He wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. That is Epictetus's philosophy in action. So let's redefine freedom for the 21st century. True freedom is not about being able to do whatever you want. That's the definition of a child. True freedom is a psychological state. It's the ability to remain calm, steady, and virtuous no matter what life throws at you. It is being unburdened by the opinions of others. It is being free from the fear of loss. It is being free from the enslavement of your own impulsive desires. It's about being the master of your own mind, not a slave to your circumstances. So how can you start walking this path to unshackled living today? It begins with a simple daily practice. Throughout your day, constantly ask yourself, is this thing that is bothering me within my control or outside of it? If it's outside your control, like a rude comment online or a sudden downpour, practice letting it go. Acknowledge it and then tell yourself, this is not my concern. Epictetus advised saying, it is nothing to me. If it is within your control, like your reaction to that comment or your choice to grab an umbrella, then focus all your energy there. Choose a virtuous, rational response. This is a training, like going to the gym. At first it's hard. Your old habits of worry and complaint will fight back. But with practice, your inner citadel becomes stronger. Second, pay attention to your desires and aversions. Stop wanting things that are not up to you. Don't desire to be famous. Desire to be a person of good character. Don't try to avoid getting sick. Try to avoid acting with fear when you are sick. Shift your goals from external outcomes to internal states of excellence. This is a radical shift from chasing the fleeting illusions of freedom the world tries to sell you. It's a call to turn inward, to practice self-awareness, and to live intentionally. It's about choosing the profound, unshakable freedom of a well-ordered mind over the chaotic and fragile freedom of external circumstance. The choice is yours. Will you continue to be a slave to things outside your control? Or will you claim the kingdom that is rightfully yours? Liberate yourself. Thanks for watching.